little bit of a rebel at Biola. I mixed it up a little bit with Dr. Chase, and they kind of almost threw me out of this school. Can we turn this one off? Is that okay? And I'm surprised they let me back in. 33 years later, I'm back here, and I'm almost as shocked as maybe some of you are. But I'm going to talk about some cool stuff tonight, stuff that I'm very, very passionate about. I'm a very crazy guy. As you witnessed, I was introduced that lean starts in the bathroom, which is a little bit different. There's a couple books written about other subjects that start in different places in the home, but this is not about that. And one time, about 4 years ago, when I had my radio show, I still have the show, I read a book called Unbroken. Did anybody read the book Unbroken? Yeah, it's a phenomenal book. It's about Louis Zamperini. And Louis Zamperini plane went down in the middle Pacific Ocean and became a prisoner of war in Japan. And during that time, Louis was on a raft in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And in order to survive, he had these fishing hooks. And he took the fishing hooks and he tied them around his fingers. Anyone remember this? He tied the fishing hooks around his fingers because when the fish would swim by, he could, for the first time, possibly catch some of them so he could eat. And I was like, this guy's a true innovator. I'm an innovator. That's what I do. I invent products and develop them all over the world. And so when I called up, I wanted to interview Louis on my show, and I called up his publicist, and I said, is there any chance that I could interview Louis Zamperini? And he said, well, why would you want to interview him, and why should I let you interview him? Who are you, right? I said, well, I'm an innovator. And I know Louis is an innovator. And he said, well, how do you know Louis is an innovator? I said, anybody who would tie fishing hooks on his fingers to catch fish in the boat in the middle of the Pacific is an incredibly innovative guy. And he goes, you know what? You're going to get the interview because you read the book. I said, wow. Greg, you read the book. Lean starts in the bathroom. So you got the interview. There you go. So I'm a very goal-oriented guy. Everything I do in life, I'm very focused. When I went to Biola, I graduated in 3.5 years, went over to Biola abroad, very difficult, took a lot of tough classes, but miraculously I graduated, even though I wasn't a very good student. Very tough for me academically. But in everything I do in life, I have goals. And so my goal tonight is so simple, it's unbelievable. My goal is for you to see waste. That's it. So in 45 minutes when I finish, 40 minutes when I finish, if you see waste like you've never seen it before, it should electrify you. You should say, oh my gosh, this is like Tesla's coil. This is crazy what this guy's talking about. If that happens, we win tonight. And that is my goal. But of course, there's ground rules on everything I do, and that is lean is simple and it's fun. I know some of you know what lean is, and some of you don't know what lean is. But for me, lean really kind of transformed my life about 13 years ago. I was a very successful business guy. Things were going great. I had no burning platform. My business was doing rock and roll good. And then I discovered the Toyota production system. And that's what I want to talk to you tonight about how I discovered that and what happened as a result of that, and how we built an innovative culture that is all about people. I'm going to talk about lean tonight, but the truth of the matter is what I'm really talking about is Christianity. Because all lean is the gospel dressed up in a business suit. That's all it is. The reason why lean works so good for Toyota, for Harley Davidson, for Amazon, and everybody else is they're obeying these tried and true principles that have transformed lives throughout the course of history. And you're going to see that as we go along. So I say that lean is simple, and most people make lean very complicated. They make it lots of graphs and charts. It's all about the bottom line. How much more profit can you make? How much waste can you reduce? How much can you add to the bottom line? That's what most people make lean about. For me, it has nothing to do with profit and nothing to do with money. Lean is all about people. It's about building human beings, and that's why I love it. Because I actually didn't graduate with a business degree. I graduated with a Christian ed degree. My goal was to be a pastor. I love people. I love working with people. I love seeing people develop. So when I was a pastor for a short period of time and then decided to go into the business world, and I learned about lean, it was exactly everything that I aspired to do when I came to Biola. I wanted to work with people and develop people. And as I learned this system, I was just like, wow, this is incredible. I want to do this. So what happened was there was a professional study done on why students learn. And it was done by Harvard, and it cost $5 million in 5 years. Our taxpayer money at work, I'm sure. And they determined just two things after 5 years and all these brilliant people trying to figure out why students learn. And they determined two things. The first thing is they showed up to class, right? So basic. You mean it wasn't this big, complicated formula to get people to learn and excel at a higher level? No, it wasn't. It was just if people just show up, it would make the difference. And the second thing they learned is they sat in the front row. So we see our A students right here, our B students, our C students, and a few D's and F's in the corner there, okay? That's all it takes. It's so simple. So as I've gone through life, I've always tried to figure out, why does everyone make everything so complex? And so I've gone out of my way because I'm dyslexic. I have all these disadvantages. I'm a C&D student. I struggled through school. Everything was hard for me. How do I make things so simple that everybody could get it? So I wrote a book about it called 2 Second Lean, How to Build a Fun, Innovative Culture. So as I talk about lean, I like to contrast what real lean looks like and what normalcy looks like. So I do that in the context of changing the tire on your car. If I asked you how long it would take you to change the tire on your car, most of you would tell me how long? 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Some people in the last talk I did today said an hour. It'd take them a half hour just to get all the crap out of the back of his car so we can find the jack and everything, right? I know, you're out there. I know, you guys have the garage, it's a mess, and everything else. But the truth of the matter is it shouldn't take that long. It should take just maybe a few minutes. But the problem is the process for changing the tire in your car is not very clear. And lean is very focused on great processes that make everything very easy. So I want to show you what it looks like, really what most organizations look like. I travel around the world. I'm in incredible factories, whether it be Pratt & Whitney, the Israeli Defense Forces, the US Navy, where they build nuclear submarines and restore the USS Ronald Reagan. I get to see these incredible things in my travel. And most places are highly dysfunctional. I mean, the struggles that people go through to get the simplest thing done is really astounding. And then even worse yet, they're putting their customers through this struggle. It's insanity. This is what it looks like, okay? Now notice who the customer is. That's that guy in the front seat. He needs the tire change because he's racing. Is he a happy guy? Look at this guy in the back kind of standing there, wasting his time. Not overly efficient. Oh, he's finally got a tire in his hand. Yeah, they're moving along real good, aren't they? Yep. Oh. Yeah, there you go. It's what we do to our customers nonstop, man. We're always doing this kind of nonsense to them. You know, we tell them that they want something, then we make them jump through all these hoops. We create all these defects and all this over-processing. Think about that in education. You know, when people walk into a classroom, the information should be astounding. It should be like sitting in front of Steve Jobs. You listen to every word, right? But is that what we deliver, both in the academic realm or in the business realm, in church? Oftentimes it's not. It's watered down, full of defects and bad processing. But this is the world that I live in. I live in a lean world where excellence is the norm. And when I engage my people and the people that follow this simple concept, we see excellence that blows people away. It's not just a little bit better. It's not like from here to here. It's from here to the other side of the room. It's totally different. And this is what it looks like.
In the pit lane, out of everybody. This is Fernando Alonso's stop. It was actually the fastest single stop. And look at the guys. They look so relaxed, but there he goes. All four wheels changed and out in 3.3 seconds. And that was in the pit lane. Out of
so watch that one more time. See if these guys are struggling. See if they're under pressure or duress. They feel like they're just killing themselves. Just the opposite. It's operational excellence. It is lean. It's fluid. It's perfection in motion. The customer, the driver, what he wants to do is race around the track. He does not want to be stuck in the pit stop. He wants to learn. He wants to express himself. He doesn't want to be stuck changing his tires. And these guys get it, and they operate at such a high level. So To give you an idea what that looks like in my company, we're very fortunate. We haven't raised our prices in 7 years, which is so outrageous. Everything's going through the ceiling, right? Transportation, we spend millions of dollars with UPS, shipping things. UPS keeps raising our rates, and yet we keep lowering our prices. How in the world could anybody do that and keep raising our salaries, not laying anybody off? We ship all of our orders from the time we get the order to the time it's in the truck. We process the order, manufacture the product, package it, and ship it in 2 hours. It's really crazy that that could be done. It wouldn't seem possible. But because we are so focused on tapping into the human potential of every one of our employees, saying, find me the waste, find me where we can improve. And they say, well, what about this? What about this? And we say, brilliant. And they're thinking like an owner. And we say, that's great. Oh, that didn't work? No problem. Experiment a little more. Tell me what else you can discover. And that's the world I live in. It gives me enormous joy. There is no greater satisfaction. You can make millions of dollars. There's no greater satisfaction than seeing a human being develop. And that's what Lean is all about. It's about uncovering the potential in every human being, which is exactly what Christ wanted for us. It's about discipleship. It's about nurturing. It's about teaching and training. It's about caring for people at the highest level and doing it in a business context. You know, we have people come from around the world to see our company. And we're just a little company. We have 50 employees. We're nobody. And yet Amazon is regularly working with us and training with us. It's hard to even imagine Coca-Cola. We have some of the best organizations in the world because all they want to know is how we built a culture where we have 16-year-olds who can clearly articulate the principles of continuous improvement, that know what the 8 wastes are, and talk about it with authority and passion. When they go on a missions trip, they see all the waste in the way the mission trip is organized, and they say, wow, if we just did this and we did this, and everybody looks at them and goes, where in the world did you come from? How did you learn to do all this stuff? Oh, I work for a company called FastCap. They teach me about continuous improvement and the 8 wastes. What are the 8 wastes? Well, it's very simple. The 8 wastes start with something called overproduction. The minute you make too much of something, you start the waste cycle. So everyone look at their table. Look at all the food on their table. Waste, overproduction. We made too much of it. You see, if you got just what you wanted, you would have no waste. But because they pushed a little bit more on you, God bless them, they're very nice, the food was great, chocolate cake was awesome, okay? Then all of a sudden now we have to transport that waste. We have to take it back to the kitchen. Then we got to put it in inventory, maybe in the refrigerator, maybe dump it down the drain, maybe in the trash. Then the next thing you know, the next waste is we got to overprocess it. So instead of emptying the garbage 1 time a day, we empty it 3 times a day, right? Because we made too much. And then that's excess motion. The next thing you know, the customer's waiting. Instead of having the food ready, we got people in the back doing work that's not value added instead of preparing the food for the next meal. And then we've wasted the human potential in every individual because they're doing work that doesn't matter. Those are the 8 wastes. I just said them so simply using the illustration of what's in front of you. So we taught our people, our 16-year-olds, our 17-year-olds, our 19-year-olds, our 60-year-olds, we taught them these are the wastes. And when you get that, you can transform the world. Because then and only then at that moment you have the ability to improve. Because if you see the waste, you see the opportunity to eliminate the waste. And I'm not talking about eliminating it all at one time. I'm talking about small, continuous improvements. The premise of the book is make one small, tiny change every day for the rest of your life. The first thing you do when you get up in the morning is make the tiniest change and connect those together. And you have something so powerful that it gets the attention of the Israeli Defense Forces, Coca-Cola, Pratt & Whitney, the U.S. Navy, and on and on and on and on. Because the bottom line is everybody makes everything so complicated. But it's really quite simple. Show up to class and sit in the front row. Make one small little improvement every day for the rest of your life. Tap in and believe that people have the potential. Everyone, whether A student, PhD, or D student like me, to make a difference, and things can really change. So the question is, who am I? I'm not a consultant, and I'm not a public speaker. I don't do this for a living, although I travel and speak all over the world. And I work with some of the biggest companies in the world. But I don't actually do it for pay, which is a little shocking. It's my desire to give back because I was born in this amazing country that gave me so much that I could build a company from my garage to a world-class company, that I began spreading this message. And again, it's really just the gospel dressed up in a business suit. But who I am is a manufacturer. I love to make things. It is my passion in life. And more importantly, though, I'm a lean fanatic 24/7. I live and breathe this because people's lives are changed as a result of this. It is the most exciting thing to see the light bulb go on in someone's head. So where are we going? Very simply, I'm going to tell you about my lean journey, and I'm going to tell you about seeing waste. That's it. At the end of this talk, in 30 minutes, you're going to know how I learned about lean and what happened. So we'll start off with very simply in 2000. The company started in 1997. The company is doing rock and roll good after 3 years. We are just setting the world on fire. The bank comes into our place and says, I've never seen a company like this ever. This is amazing. Okay, so I invented one little product, a peel and stick cover cap. The next thing you know, I developed a laser jam, and then I started traveling around, and people heard the story how this little D student, carpenter, nobody, develops a couple of products. Next thing you know, the company starts going, and they start saying, I have an idea, and I have an idea. And you know what? Everybody in this room I know is thinking right now, you have an idea, and you do have a good idea. And they said, would you take my product to market? And I said, how cool would it be if instead of it being about me and all my great innovative prowess, but if I took other people's ideas, paid them a 5% royalty, even though they don't have patents, and took them to market? Well, what happened next was I started getting 10 ideas a day. People started hearing the story. There's this regular guy that will take your idea and develop it and take it to market. So we started doing that, and today we have 600 products. It's crazy. 40 countries, 2,700 distributors. We launch products so fast, sometimes we can do a product in 4 weeks. It's insane. From the time it's on a dinner napkin, from the time someone sends me a video, to the time it's on the market in 4 weeks. It's unheard of. People will send me a video, and I'll send it to 70 beta testers. I'll send that out. You want to talk about lean? I take the video, forward it, push signature, lean. Please rate this product a 1, 2, or 3. 1, I got to have it right now. 2, good idea, not sure. 3, don't waste your time. I send that to 70 people. Within 5 minutes, 70 people responded back with a single digit, a 1, a 2, or 3. If I get a bunch of 1s, baby, we're going to market. 2, not so sure. 3, I'm not going to waste my time. Talk about lean. Think about the bureaucracy that is in most organizations. Think about if you sent that to DeWalt or Porter-Cable or Makita or Craftsman. It'd be 3 years going through a nightmare. Within 5 minutes, I've got an answer whether or not I'm taking the product to market. It's astounding. Only because I learned lean. Because I understand where value is and where non-value add activity is. There's no value in stringing something out like that. Why does everything have to be so complicated? So the bottom line is we were doing really well. And we had a great manufacturing plant, and it was super clean, and it was all painted floors, and it looked like an airplane hangar. And of course, it should have looked that way because I learned from the master. Bob Taylor taught me everything I know about manufacturing. Bob Taylor is one of the best guitar makers in the world. I built the first 2,000 guitars with Bob. And he was just a brilliant innovator. I built all the furniture in my house. I restored all these beautiful homes in Pasadena. Man, if anybody knew how to manufacture, baby, you're looking at him. I knew what I was doing. I was good at it. And people respected me for what I knew. And wow, were we organized. Look at this plant. It was clean. It was buttoned down. But not so fast, because lean is not about being organized. If you're an OCD person right now and you're thinking, I already do this lean thing, I'm already hyper, you are clueless. It has I'm telling you, it has nothing to do with being organized. Organization is a byproduct of being lean, but it is not lean because you can organize waste, and I was the master of it. I had racks and racks of inventory, perfectly organized, faced off, looking beautiful. But that is not lean. So I hired this consultant to come in, and he looked around, and I said, Tracy, can you help me? And he said, you know what? You only need help with inventory, but the bottom line is you need help with everything. You don't have a clue what you're doing. Now, I had won Business of the Year. We were making great money. We had no burning platform. Everything was going good. And Tracy says, you are clueless. You don't have a clue what you're doing. And I said, what do I need to do? And he said, you need to learn something called TPS. I didn't know what that was. He said, you need to learn something called lean manufacturing. I didn't know what that was. He said, you need to learn something called Kaizen. I really didn't know what that was. This is all Greek to me, and I'm Greek. And I didn't understand what he was talking about, okay? And I said, what do I need to do? And he said, well, you need to hire these guys, these young consultants, and they'll come in and they'll teach you the Toyota production system. So I hired these young kids to come in, and as I learned about the Toyota production system, I discovered something that really astounded me. Not only was Toyota doing the lean production, but Harley-Davidson was doing lean production. Oh, Porsche was doing lean production. The Israeli Defense Forces was doing lean production, and Amazon was doing lean production, and Virginia Mason Hospital was doing lean production. Turns out that lean was really quite popular, and it really turned out that the best companies and organizations in the world were doing lean. And then I said, oh, I think I need to learn this. This is a whole different ballgame. And did you notice the disparate group of people that were doing lean? It isn't just for manufacturers. What is Virginia Mason? They're doing heart transplants. What do they have to do with treating cancer and lean? Well, they happen to be one of the greatest hospitals in the world because they're lean. What does the Israeli Defense Forces have to do with lean? Everything. Everything. Because everything in life is a process. How you brush your teeth is a process. How you get ready in the morning is a process. How you answer your emails is a process. How you make a widget, how you make a bank loan. Everything you do is a process. And within the walls and constraints of that process, there is waste. And there's not a little bit of waste. 95% of everything you do is waste. Did you catch that? 95% of everything you do in life is waste. So a lean thinker simply takes from A to Z, start to finish, and starts taking the waste out and shrinking it down. And they get pure value. And that value delivers boundless opportunity. That value uncovers intellectual brilliance and genius in individuals who work for you. That's all lean is. It's so simple. So I hired these kids to come in from Japan. They were missionaries. They were translators for Toyota consultants that came to the U.S. And they came into my facility, and before long, they started turning my facility into all these U-shaped cells, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. They took processes that were taking us 45 minutes that we were the expert in, that we developed, that we invented, that we patented, everything we did, from 45 minutes to 5 minutes. And they kept doing that over and over again. I go, forget about being clueless. I don't think I even came out of the egg yet. I was so bad off. I mean, that's how clueless I was. And they looked at me like I was the one who was supposed to know what was going on. Remember, I was trained by the best. But I soon found out I didn't know what I was doing. I went to Japan. And what I saw in Japan was unbelievable. I saw all these people at stand-up desks, not sitting down. I saw them at small pipe desks that were cobbled together on wheels, and everything moved around. Everybody was communicating clear. There were no walls, boundaries. There were no cubicles. There were no offices hiding things. Just clear communication, very lean, stripping away all the waste. And then I saw factories like this that just completely blew me away. These were metal fabricating factories that looked like Disneyland. They had murals everywhere. It was spotlessly clean. The employees were totally engaged. They came to work in the morning, and for the first hour, they cleaned the neighborhoods around the factory. They had so much time. And I went to factories like Toto, one of the largest toilet manufacturers in the world. And their floors and their manufacturing processes are cleaner than any restaurant I have ever been in. They were flawless. They were measuring 1/6 of a second. We are throwing out hours every day. The Japanese are measuring 1/6 of a second. I go, oh, I had no clue. So as I came back and started to implement this in my company, and I saw these outrageous results, and people started coming around saying, can we come see what you're doing? He said, sure. I mean, we're worthless. I mean, we barely know anything. We're just little infants in this whole process. We started letting people come into our facility, and before long, Amazon was coming. And we had all these hotshot companies coming. Because all we did was teach people to see waste. And we said, simply fix what bugs you. And our people started fixing what bugs them, not like once a week, not like once a month, not with some special initiative, but before they ever started work. The first thing our people do before they ever work is they fix something. So simple. Show up to class, sit in the front row. Fix something before you work. Sharpen your axe. We started doing that, and it was just unbelievable. 7 years of not raising your prices, lowering prices regularly. These were crazy things. We continued around Japan, and we saw that everything was on wheels. Even their soda machines were on wheels. Everything was flexible. Why was everything flexible? Because the needs of the customers are always changing. But the minute you build something in, you have no ability to change. Are you going to want to change if you build something in? The answer is no, of course not. You're not going to want to. But the Japanese figured out, not all the Japanese, the lean companies, Toyota, people like that, they figured out that if everything's on wheels and everything's flexible, then as the needs of the customer change, they could more aptly adjust to those needs and service them. And really what it turned out was Toyota was in the service industry, servant industry. They really became servants to their customers, and that's what we learned. Everything we do at FastCap is about serving the customer. It is not about creating jobs. It's not about creating benefits. It's not about creating retirement for me. It's not about profit. It's not about anything. I don't even think about those things. I don't even care about those things. I care about one thing. I serve my customer with great passion. And the result is we make a ton of money. We have great jobs. We have great benefits. We got our priorities straight. We show up to class and we sit in the front row. So as we traveled around Japan, we saw some crazy things. In Toto, they wear little badges on their shirt that say 0. 0 defects, 0 breakdowns, 0 injuries. I mean, come on, 0. Not like 1%, not like 6 Sigma. 0. 0. The standard's crazy high. We talk about why people don't act like owners because we don't expect them to look like owners. But when we expect people to act like owners, they start acting like owners. I just recently sent one of the young girls in my company, 18 years old, Yelena, I think she's 17 actually. I sent her to the Women in Manufacturing Conference in Detroit. Now, you don't normally send 17-year-olds on business junkets, but I did because I believe in my people. She went back and she was working with vice presidents and presidents of companies, major corporations, and she runs circles around them. They go, where did this girl come from? Well, we've been training her since she's 15 years old. I mean, she knew more about lean manufacturing, about effective manufacturing, than the senior people she was with. As we finished our tour in Japan the second time, I was, just really struck by what I saw. And I was a little overwhelmed, frankly. I thought, how in the world could I ever do this? And I was on the bus, and I put my head down. I was in the front seat. I put my head down. I was just going, wow, how do you do this? Toyota's so good. And I looked up at my sensei, who was my teacher, that was Brad, and I said to him, Brad, I think I get this. I think I finally get this. After 5 years of doing lean. Now, for the first 5 years that I did lean, it wasn't very pretty. We got some great results. I told you about the great results, but it wasn't building a culture. And I said, I think I finally get this. And he said, yeah, what do you think, Paul? I said, all Toyota's doing, and all these companies are doing, is they are able and capable of seeing waste. And if they see waste, that's when they have the opportunity to improve. So all they're doing is teaching their people to see waste, and then they make these improvements based on seeing waste. And the result is this operational excellence at the highest level. And he looked at me and he said, you got it. Took me 5 years to figure it out. The premise of the book is, I've been doing this for 13 years now. If you follow this simple prescription of teaching your people to see waste, making before and after videos of the problem and the solution, that you can get where we are in 13 years in 1 year, and we have proven that over and over again with organization after organization, have come through our place. We said, look, don't make it so complicated. It's not all the graphs and charts. It's not all the flow charts. It's not the value stream mapping. It's not the A3s. It's not all the stuff they tell you about. It's simply learning to see waste and then eliminate it through continuous improvement on a daily basis. So I came back, I taught my people the 8 deadly sins of waste. We made it really fun. We did it fast food style. So the first thing you do is you overproduce hamburgers. Next thing you know, you're transporting them. Next thing you know, you put them in inventory in the warming oven, right? Next thing you know, the customer orders no pickles. Guess what? You got pickles. Defects. Take them apart, over-processing, excess motion. Meanwhile, the customer's waiting. You're wasting employee potential because you don't understand just-in-time manufacturing, and you're determined to overproduce. We started teaching these simple concepts. And then I really started getting crazy, and this is where you're going to find out how crazy I really am. I started making videos, okay? I started saying, hey, this is too crazy. Everywhere I go, I see waste. So I made this first video, the Lean Burrito. It has so many hits, it's crazy because it resonated with so many people. And I just simply took out my iPhone and recorded what I was seeing. And the rest is history. So here is the Lean Burrito.
In an attempt to always find waste, this is my burrito that I'm eating. Now they asked me when I bought it if I wanted sour cream and hot sauce. And I said yes. So instead of putting it in the burrito, they gave it to me in a separate container.
I have an idea.
Next time, put the sour cream and the hot sauce in the burrito. Okay, I just finished my burrito, and this is all the waste. We have the aluminum foil that's going to be thrown out, the paper that's going to be thrown out, the container from the salsa and the sour cream. We have 2 napkins, one I didn't use, and a whole little box here with a plastic fork and a plastic knife, all going to be put in the landfill for 1 burrito. All I really needed was the aluminum foil to wrap it in, and that was it. Sour cream, everything could have been inside, and 1 napkin. I would have made less of a mess, and I would have been perfect. Look at all the waste.
Check out this waste. We did a spreadsheet. 4 cents for the carton, the knife and fork 6 cents. Everything added up to 31 cents of waste per burrito. 30 burritos a day, $9.30 times 7 days a week, 52 weeks. $3,385 per store. If you take 31 cents a burrito times 10 million burritos a day in the US alone, that's $3.1 million in the landfill. That's total waste.
Okay, I'm back at the local coffee shop, Curb Shops, and we're gonna get ourselves a lean burrito. Watch how this is done. Hi Gina, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Can I get a lean burrito?
Sure.
I want a burrito with sour cream, hot sauce inside, aluminum foil, and nothing else in 1 napkin.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks Gina. Here it comes, the lean burrito. What do we got? Aluminum foil, 1 napkin. Wow, that's amazing. Look at all the waste we eliminated. With the sour cream and everything inside. Isn't this yummy? Look at this thing. All ready to go, just the way I wanted it, just what the customer wanted, and no more and no less.
Pretty crazy, isn't it? It's swirling all around you. And it's not just with food, it's with everything. Remember, A to Z. The waste, all we need to do is get rid of it. We do it on a daily basis, it becomes a gigantic game. And that game is very fun to participate in. So as we taught this principles, we did this video, we had started to get high power executives, people who were major players, started to go, wow, I could do this. This is not like initiating me or initiative to death. This is something practical that everybody could do. I could teach the janitor, or I could teach myself to do this. When Coca-Cola started buying hundreds of books from us, we called them up and said, why are you buying so many books? They said, frankly, because the janitor gets this and the CEO gets it. Everyone can understand what you're talking about. It's not complicated. All you're doing is saying, make improvements every day. And I said, you got it. Last week, I spoke in Baltimore to the Lean Consortium on the East Coast, a bunch of businesses. They came in there, and when the guy introduced me, he gave me this incredible introduction because he told a story about how watching the Lean Burrito had changed the way he thought about waste. And this is what happened. So after I spoke, I said, Jeff, would you redo that story because it's so powerful? This is it. It's called Lean Starbucks.
Hi, my name's Jeff Fuchs, and I just wanted to describe a little bit about what happened after I watched the Lean Burrito video. So I'm walking into my favorite place, Starbucks, and I order a drink, and it suddenly dawns on me that there's a lot of waste going on here. I'm getting a paper cup, a paper sleeve, the plastic top, and then I have to tell people what my order is, and they put my name down on the cup. They're wasting a lot of time. They're writing down all my specifics, and it could be a lot less confusing for everybody. So I went in, I bought one of their steel cups, I broke out my label maker, and I put all my information right on it. There's my name, there's all my specifics, 4SL in their code. It's simple, it's hassle-free, it's better for them, it's better for me. And these days I walk into Starbucks and I'm a rock star.
So simple. It's so simple. So life turns into this gigantic game where you're getting people to think on a level they never thought of before because we made it simple. A great example is bankers aren't traditionally simple people and very complex. They love to just really grind it to you with all that paperwork, but we went for a bank loan. Of course, most of our company, the entire company, is done with cash almost because we don't really need loans. But we're building a big project, so we thought we'd get a small loan to build our project. And we had 3 banks bid on the job. And fortunately, one of the bankers, who was just brilliant, decided to read my book before he did the loan papers or make the submittal for the offer. And he submitted this to me, a 1-page document. He said, I knew if I came in with a 28-page document that I traditionally give people, that you would just throw me out of the office. But here it is, 1 page. This is everything you need to know about this loan, Paul. And I said, David, you got the job. The other ones weren't even in the running for me because he got it. And that guy has now been promoted to a major investment bank in Seattle because he gets it. He realized all the waste that was going on in banking. And he said, this is crazy. All I would do is take that 28-page document, either throw it out, put it in a filing cabinet, expand my inventory, have to manage all that, shred it all after 7 years. This is what we do. But when you start to become a lean thinker, everything changes. It's pretty cool. So we recently taught a company called Walters & Wolff. They're here in California. They're in 4 locations, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Seattle. Major glazing contractor. They do a lot of the high-rise work for Amazon, for Las Vegas, San Diego. They're just a cool company, big construction company, 900 employees. You know, very successful, no burning platform. They're doing great. They see the lean burrito video and they go, gosh, we've been knowing we need to do this lean thing. We know the best companies in the world are doing lean. We know we need to do it, but we don't know where to start. It's so complicated. We don't have the time to do that. We can't even get our orders out. And then you want me to do lean on top of it. They see the lean burrito and said, all you have to do is make a small improvement every day and make a video of it and show that. They started doing it in 1 year. They made 1,500 videos. They turned an entire culture of 900 people, union people. They are making improvements so fast that people, major corporations, are coming to view them, to learn lean from them in 1 year. That's what happens. That's excellence. That's the Formula One team. It's so simple. People make it so complicated. This is one of the first videos he ever made, and it so perfectly typifies what's going on in most companies, and they did it in a very humorous way. It's called Hauling the Mail.
Our weekly improvement video is regarding hauling the mail.
Here is our improvement opportunity. We're currently looking at the annex building where 38 people work. On a daily basis, we need to walk to the big house to collect our mail, which is all the way over there.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Nick.
Where are you headed? All right. Have a nice walk. And there goes Greg on his hike to the big house to get his mail. Hey Greg, lots of mail today?
None today.
All right, that's a bummer. Thanks.
With Walters & Wolff, and this is our consensus for hauling the mail from the big house back to the annex building. We have approximately 38 people. At 4 minutes and 30 seconds a person, it takes 171 minutes per day, 855 minutes per week, 3,420 minutes per month, 41,040 minutes per year, 684 hours of wasted time.
Hey, that's looking pretty good over there.
Yeah, this is number 2 to complete the set.
Beautiful. Thanks, Jose. That's
No biggie.
That looks like that should fit in there nicely.
Looks nice, yeah.
Great.
It's gonna look great.
Hey, Greg, where are you going?
Get my mail, man. It's that time. Oh, wow. That's cool. Right on. Much better. Thanks.
Now, if you were going to say, hey, you've got this company with 900 employees and they've never heard of lean before, and you want to teach them about this crazy new principle, and you want to teach them how to be world class, and you're going to do it simply by teaching them to see the 8 ways, and then having them make before and after videos, and Nick, the leader of that company, has went out and bought iPhones for all 900 employees. Kept it very simple, transmitting and building a culture so rapidly, it's unbelievable. He kept it so simple. It's just amazing what happens. Simple is the new smart. You know, I was faced with a lot of dilemmas as the company grew. You know, I could have any office I want, the perfect corner office with a window overlooking the facility, and certainly I had all that at one point in my life, but I realized, man, all the value is added on the shop floor and on the factory floor. And I started to really wrestle with what I was doing as a leader. And I decided to try to go lean in my desk. So this is the story in a quick video of my journey through having the ultimate lean office. It's called Lean Desk.
Okay, this was my first desk, typical office like most people, 4 walls. We have a bookshelf, computer, drawers, a computer screen, lots of up and down, a chair. Every time I got interrupted, I was up, then I was down, up, then I was down, lots of waste. And then I went to a stand-up desk. So let's go take a look at what that looked like. Okay, welcome to my next office. Beautiful office, all stand-up. Even the conference table right here is stand-up. We used to have big cushy leather chairs. They all went away. Now we stand around a conference table, and guess what? The meetings don't last very long. How long do your meetings last? We were taking financial meetings that took 6 hours, turned them into 2 hours just because we were standing up. Very easy to get comfortable. Now on this desk, what's different, again, it's stand-up. Quite a bit different than the last desk that you saw. So now every day I just stood up here. It worked out very well. I was able to get a lot of work done. Occasionally I get interrupted. I just turn around and go right back to my work. Very effective, and I liked it a lot. But then I thought to myself, look at all this room. Look at how much room this whole office takes up. What do I need all this room for? It's just a great place to collect things, including my guitars, because I like to play. Let's go to my next office and you'll see what that looks like. Okay, welcome to my next office. Very small, very compact, not nearly as opulent as the other ones, not that the other ones were that opulent, but this is much different. Now we took a rack from Costco, we took a metal rack here, we put a particle board top, we painted it. I have my printer right here, very fast, very easy to access. I have the monitor on top. As you can see, I'm standing up, I'm not hunching over. I have a microphone right here that I do a lot of recording on that works very nicely, and it's quite effective. But still, why do I need all this space? I can't quite figure it out. Now, the way this all came about is I have a friend who runs a much bigger company than me that has a much smaller desk than me. And we're kind of having a contest to see who's got the smallest desk. So finally, I went to what Jeff has, and Jeff made me one of his desks, and now let's go take a look at that. Okay, here's my office. You say, what? Yeah, I'm on the shop floor. My friend Jeff Koss has a company much larger than mine. He has a factory floor where he has 30 of his executives actually on the shop floor on stand-up desks. So I said, if it's good enough for Jeff, it's probably good enough for me. And they're a very lean company. So this is my desk right here, right in the middle of the shop floor. You would never expect it. When I walk in the morning, I just take my laptop out. And guess what? If I want to be in a different part of the factory, we'll just roll over to a different part of the factory. And I'll work with whoever I want, whenever I want. Watch that cart. And now I'm over in the packaging area. And if packaging is having a problem or I want to see how things are going, I can just roll it right over here. The cool thing about this desk is I've got a plug-in on the back side. I can plug it in when my laptop gets low. I've got a power strip right here that's very easy to plug all my accessories in if I need to. But of course, you would expect nothing less. I have a lean briefcase. When I come in the morning, I just need to plug that in. All my accessories are being charged right here. My laptop simply goes right back in here. How fast could that be? And I'm off to my next appointment. Let's go. That's lean.
Smartest decision I ever made was leaving my office and being on the shop floor. That's where I spend every day. I'm stand up on the office floor with my people because my job as a leader is to teach and train. My job as a leader is to be a coach, to inspire people. It is not to be locked away in an office that they have to knock on the door to get to me. And that has been so pivotal in understanding what lean is all about. It's about removing the barriers, allowing communication to flow, and about transparency. It's about nurturing. It's about discipling. It's about caring about people. Recently, I was in Providence, Rhode Island, and everywhere I go, I'm faced with waste. I mean, it's just part of who I am. I just see it. And I went to get a cup of coffee at McDonald's, and this is what happened.
So here is my scene waste for the day. I just got my Newman's coffee for $1 at McDonald's. I love the value of McDonald's. But I asked for 3 creams and 2 Splendas in the coffee, and they said, no problem, we'll put it in. But she handed me this bag. And I go, wow, that bag's heavy. And she put 5 creamers, 4 Splendas, and 4 sugars. I think that's a little bit of overproduction and a whole lot of waste.
And that's happening millions of times a day. You want McDonald's wants to add more to their bottom line? Think about what would happen if they just had good standardized work. The next day I was in Las Vegas, I went to get a cup of coffee, and this is what happened. Not good standardized work. Now, McDonald's is a fabulous organization, and I love McDonald's, and very lean in many respects. But they weren't teaching and training their people consistently, and so the person in Providence, Rhode Island, was not listening to the way the process should have been done, but the person in Las Vegas was. Watch this cup of coffee. It's magical. Look how perfect that was by comparison. That's called standardized work. So often in organizations, one person's doing it this way and another person's doing it this way. What a disaster. But when you spend time teaching and training your people and making sure the best processes are transmitted and then being improved, you can have world class like the Formula One racing crew. You know, it faces us everywhere we go and everything. This is one of my favorite ones to illustrate how much waste is out there. I don't think there's a person in this room that has not encountered this problem right now with a camera. Ready?
Hi everyone. You know what? I got this fabulous new camera, and like all cameras, it has a problem. Whenever I go to put the battery in, I don't know how to put the battery in. Those are contacts, so I'll put it in like that, but you know what? It doesn't work like that. You've got to put it in exactly the right way with this little rounded corner. It's just hard. It's really dumb that they haven't figured out a better way to do this. But I thought of a better way, so watch this. See that little orange tab right there? All I'm going to do is take an orange marker, and I'm going to put an orange mark right there, right? And you know what that does? That is strong visual controls. Every time I put in my battery, it goes in right every time. That's lean.
Zero struggle. Who hasn't dealt with that problem? But yet you have camera companies, the best in the world, Nikon, Canon. Would you think they would have figured that out by now? But yet the whole world struggles with how to put the battery in. It's always going in the wrong way. And it's so simple through strong visual controls. Remember, lean is simple and it's fun. And if you apply it this way, you can do magical things. You know, recently when I spoke in Dallas, a guy came up to me from a major construction company and he said, Paul, you know, it is so true what you're saying. It is crazy. The waste in the construction industry is staggering. It is staggering. If we just started applying a few of these things, it would be over the top. But nobody wants to fix what bugs them. And I said, it's that simple. Just start fixing what bugs you. You want to know where to start? Tomorrow, wake up in the morning, and the first thing that hits you in the face and bugs you, stop and apply a little bit of common sense. Start developing this intellectual genius. Start becoming an Edison and a Ford. That's all they did. They fixed what bugs them. That's all Edison did. That's all Ford did. Nobody could typify it more humorously, though, than Saturday Night Live. So recently, this was brought to me by one of the listeners to my show, and we'll end with this, because I think nothing could do it better. This is called Fix What Bugs You.
Hello, Seth. Hello, Amy. Hello, Seth and Amy. Okay, Oscar, last week the stock market was up near 500 points, and yesterday it was down more than 400 points. Do you see any hint that this roller coaster ride will be ending anytime soon? Very good analysis, Seth. The market is very close, it's very much like a roller coaster ride, and I do believe it is about to end. But before we get off, we will come to find that our digital camera is falling out of our shirt pocket, our brand new Ray-Bans are falling out of our hands, and we are about to financially bomb on ourselves. Well, so what do we do? Well, it's actually very simple. Somebody needs to get on top of this situation and fix it. I haven't slept in 2 weeks.
Gosh, it's so simple, isn't it? And people make it so complicated. So as you begin to learn about lean, don't allow anybody to make it complicated, because it should be fun, it should be engaging, it should be one of the most enjoyable things you ever done in your life. And more importantly than all the above, it should be the most efficient way to tap into the human potential of all the people that you work with. Thank you very much.
So questions for Paul? Just shout them out.
The business sector, I think, has embraced a lot what you've talked about. Certainly room for improvement. But can you start giving talks to the government sector?
Well, a couple secrets.
Government sector
Yeah.
is so far away from what you're talking about, it's astounding.
Yeah, well, it's terrible. But a couple things. I ran for the U.S. Senate just a few short years ago because my goal was to bring lean to the federal government and to teach these concepts, because could you imagine what our government would look like? I mean, our taxes would be cut in half, right? And the thing is, we cut them in half and we deliver 5 times as much. It's just crazy. But here is the good news. The good news is I just spoke to 2,500 people in Washington State. Jay Inslee, our governor up there, I happen to be a Republican, a very conservative guy. He's a Democrat, asked me to come down and speak. Washington State has adopted lean. They're doing incredible things. And granted, are they setting the world on fire yet? No, but they are all moving the right directions. Every day I get 2 or 3 emails from people in Washington State government saying, what do I do in this situation? How do I do this? I mean, the people are engaged at the highest level. And you know what I am blown away by? You think the government officials, you think the government employees are lazy, that they don't care? I'm telling you, it's just the opposite. They want it so bad, but they've never had the tools, and now they have the tools. So it's happening.
Okay.
We will.
Another question maybe from over here? Anybody have one? Yes, sir.
I notice when you go to a fast food place, sometimes you can see a countdown clock.
Mm-hmm.
Any response to that? I mean, it's like they're watching how long it takes, especially when it's a drive-up window.
Yeah. Well, there are some great lean companies out there. One of the best ones is In-N-Out Burger. If you ever want to see lean at the highest level, just go to In-N-Out. It is magical. Another one is Five Guys Hamburgers. Phenomenal lean organization. But the best of all, the best restaurant in the world, if you really want to see lean at the highest level, is the Cheesecake Factory. They are known to be the highest quality food at the best value, and the reason why is they teach and train their people like nobody in the world. They are a world-class organization based on lean principles. So when you get... What? Well, then just take it home. They have a skinny menu now, all right?
How about over here? Did I see a hand? Or no? Okay, right here.
We have to be here at an educational institute.
Right.
Seeing lean in education.
Oh, it's just like, it's rocket fuel here. What happens is, so I teach at a lot of universities, I speak to a lot of business departments, and kids above all else eat this up. They love it. They go crazy. They're constantly touring our facility. They just go nuts. They go, this is incredible, because they're naturally creative. And then when you dial it in with the phone and the videos, see, this is the current generation. A lot of us are gray hairs. You know, we're the old people. We don't do this. They know this language. When you connect it with this, it's crazy good. Let me give you a good example of how we apply lean in the teaching segment at our company. Every day we lead a morning meeting. It lasts a half hour to 45 minutes. We teach the history, Constitution. We go over every mistake, all the improvements we make. It's a phenomenal thing. It's like Biola, it's like FastCap University. We like have a university for 7 years we've never missed. I spend thousands of dollars training my people every day. But here's the kicker. At the end of the meeting, when someone leads the meeting, whether it be a 16-year-old or a 60-year-old, we have an evaluation. We have 10 pieces of criteria. If you're passionate, are you prepared? Did you ask questions? Were you engaging? We have all these criteria that you are evaluated by the people you taught that day right now, just in time. So you have the opportunity to improve right at that moment. Could you imagine if at Biola University, the professor taught a history lesson and right after the entire student body or the students had to evaluate them? How powerful that would be? He or she would raise their game way up. You can't be bad when you're in that kind of environment. And that's what we do. And I tell you, I'll put my 15, 16, 17-year-olds up against anyone, and they will blow them out of the water in the way they can articulate ideas, how passionate they are, and how effective they are at communicating. Because we've leaned out the process. Everything is right now.
Questions? More questions? Don't be bashful.
In the public sector, what type of rewards have you seen?
You know, it's a funny thing. The reward system in Lean is quite interesting. We used to make a big mistake. We used to pay people a bonus or, you know, a certain amount of money for every improvement we made, and we stopped that. It was the biggest mistake of my life, so I'm not in favor of that, and let me explain why. Because the job at FastCap is not to make woodworking tools and equipment. The job of the FastCap employees is to improve the way we make woodworking tools and equipment. The job of Toyota employees is not to make automobiles. It is to improve the way they make automobiles. Our job is to improve. And there is no greater reward for a human being to feel like they have contributed and made a difference. Nobody wants to be a drone. 99% of the workforce is treated like a drone. Just go over there and do your work. It is very rare that the CEO or president of a company says, you're smart, you're capable, show me your stuff. And the minute that happens, they're engaged. They give you your heart. They don't just give you your brain and your hands. They give you their heart, their heart. And when you get their heart, it's over with. And that is the greatest reward you can give to anybody.
More questions? Yes.
You mentioned that this comes from the gospel.
Mm-hmm.
Could you talk about that a little more?
Well, I think that as I see the gospel, Christ was on the shop floor, wasn't he? Wasn't he with the fishermen? Wasn't he with the tax collectors? Wasn't he breaking bread with them all the time? He was not. He was the greatest leader in the world, and yet he wasn't away in some office that you had to make an appointment to come see. He was all about discipleship, teaching, and nurturing. He was all about developing human beings. These are exactly what Lean does. All we do, when I went to Toyota, when I went to the Lexus plant, and I asked the vice president of Lexus, what is the most important thing for Toyota? He replied to me with an answer that blew me out of the water. After 5 years of doing Lean, I thought he was going to tell me all these magical little tools. He said, the only thing Toyota cares about is teaching and training people and building a culture of continuous improvement. I said, are you kidding me? All they care about is their people. They know the people are it. That dovetails perfectly with the gospel that I know.
Anybody else? One more? Yes, sir.
Paul, how would you get buy-in from managers that might be resistant to change like this?
That's a great question. Well, the best way to do this period is by example. There is no other way to do it. You need to go back as a leader, and here's the thing I tell people. You have enough waste in your life for 10 lifetimes. You don't have to worry about looking at Bob, Sue, Mary, John, Bob. Forget about it. You have all the waste in the world for 10 lifetimes. Go home and start working on yourself. Is that the gospel or what? Go home and start working on yourself. And people will be so magnetized by the results that you deliver, they will follow.
Okay. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks.
Biola University offers a variety of biblically centered degree programs, ranging from business to ministry to the arts and sciences. Visit biola.edu to find out how Biola could make a difference in your life.